All right, this is my 2002 Lb7 Duramax, and I recently, over this past weekend, hit 300,000 miles, and I thought I would mention what I love about it and what I don't love about it, things I've found wrong with it, faulty, or things that I think are perfect. I got this truck when I was 16, but it's been in the family for quite longer than that. My dad bought this brand new in 2002, and it's stayed in the family ever since. He only got a new truck in 2014. He bought a 2015 GMC 2500, and this thing went to his business and became a work truck. And sadly, there's all sorts of stuff that have been mistreated. In my opinion, I think have not been treated well, because sadly that's how it was. And so there's a lot of things that are just dents, scratches, and all sorts of stuff all over the truck that have been damaged. I'm slowly fixing that though, and it's looking better. But you can definitely tell more on the interior when it comes to the damage. There's a lot of, tools would just be thrown in and out of it. So it'd scrape up the leather or the door panels or the dash. So there's plenty of scratches all over that, but I'm working my way to fixing it. I got this truck around, the last picture I have of my mileage is 216,000 miles. But when I got my hands on it, I did a lot of cosmetics. I changed out the headlights twice. I got some tow mirrors because I wanted that look. And then I installed cab lights because I thought cab lights were cool. But besides that, the only thing that was already done to it were the wheels. Oh, and it did have a straight pipe, not a straight pipe, a catback. So, and it's a side dump, so it comes out basically right behind the rear passenger door. And so that's a pretty cool feature I thought that it had. Once I got the truck, there was nothing really wrong with it. I didn't find too much wrong with it. The one thing I can complain about, and know that anybody with a 99 to 06 or 07 Chevy, is the headlights do move a bit. These are pretty good actually for how my old headlights moved, but that is kind of annoying. And then the grill moves a bit. But besides that, there's nothing really cosmetic that I could complain too much about. I'm in California, so there's not really too much rust, if any. And when I first got it, man, I wasn't the kindest to her. I would abuse her. I would use her. And I would off-road with it. Not crazy off-road like rock crawling, but I would go over like whoops in the desert. I would climb dirt hills and stuff like that. I would go off-roading with it, trail riding, and yeah, it's held up pretty well. For how old of a truck it is, it's still able to do anything I want it to. It's towed fifth wheels, it's towed toy haulers. I tow all the time with it. I tow out to the desert. I usually have the toy hauler, which has at least 10 to 11 bikes or motorcycles inside, so there's a decent amount of weight in there. I've also towed our fifth wheel, which she's a big girl. But yeah, she's never left me stranded. She's pretty strong going. I haven't had any problems where I've had to stop, figure something out, and get back on the road. According to my dad, there's only been one time that it's left someone stranded, and it was when they were doing a job up in the mountains, and it overheated. And so he drove up there to go pick it up with a trailer, and it started fine, drove fine. But he was already there with the trailer, so he was like, well, might as well take it down on the trailer. Simple things have gone wrong with it, just like radiator hoses leaking, coolant lines just leaking, stuff like that, just from getting old and getting the rubber getting all weak. But that happens to pretty much any truck that has that over time. Rubber hoses don't last forever. Yeah, I have never, at least while I've owned it, it's never overheated. It's handled anything I've thrown at it. Even while towing, we'll tow up Tehachapi, which, if any of you know, it's a pretty long uphill drive, and it's tough on trucks, but it's done me really well. The only things I have personally changed is I added a cold air intake, and that's it. More recently, though, I have put in a 3-inch downpipe, which turns out didn't fit my truck right because I didn't realize the downpipes were different between California models and normal Lb7 models. Yeah, this has been a really great truck. I don't have too much to complain about it. I mean, I can off-road. It's plenty quick. It's definitely not slow. I have a lot of fun with it, and I plan on keeping her alive as long as I can, hopefully keeping her in the family, because I grew up in this truck. It was the truck I grew up riding in with my dad, and it's always been around the family, so I don't think I have any plans of getting rid of it. And I don't know, I just wanted to make this video to tell people, like, hey, I have loved this truck. There's only a few things that have gone wrong, and that's radiator hoses. My CV axle boot tore, so I had to get a new boot. And yeah, tie rods are fine, internals are fine, and I do have a tune in it, but I hardly use it, and I think it's too stock to even really make a difference. And I usually don't run it on any high modes or anything like that. But yeah, she's been a great truck. I think that if anyone's ever looking into getting into just a truck that's capable for doing pretty much anything, the Lb7's not a bad choice. It's a really great truck. As long as you switch out injectors, you got a truck that'll last you. Like, I had a friend who had a LLY that sat in a garage for most of its life, so it has like 120,000 miles on it, maybe less, and his is breaking all the time. I have a friend who has an LBZ, and he's going into limp mode all the time. This thing has never gone into limp mode while I've owned it. I don't even know if it's capable of going into limp mode. But yeah, I think this is a great truck. And I think if anyone's looking into wanting to get a truck, I think you should check into some LBZs because they're pretty great. And I don't know which body style you like. I love this body style. This is my favorite body style. It's grown on me. I used to be that basic, oh my gosh, LBZ cat eye is my favorite. And I have now switched to, over time, realizing that those are kind of overhyped and that I prefer this look a lot more. But it has to be the 2500 HD looking front end. I don't really like the 1500s, but that's just me. I know they have this model in the cat eye version, so even if you like the way cat eyes look, you can still find a cat eye with an Lb7. But yeah, I think they're great trucks. So pre-emissions, Has plenty of power and torque to do whatever you need. So I would highly suggest looking into an Lb7. And who knows where I'll go with this video. I just posted it just because I thought might as well say what my experience and my dad's experience is with this truck. All the way up to 300,000 miles. I daily drive it everywhere, so it's never let me down. So yeah, see you guys.